10 years ago, in 2005, the Porsche Cayman was launched as a mid-engine sports car based on the chassis of the well-selling Boxster Roadster. Most people simply thought of it as the overpriced coupe version, but its fans around the world wondered what would happen if it got more performance, relieved from its existence in the shadow of its iconic brother, the 911 Carrera. And today, we get the answer. The new GT4 comes with a bigger 3.8-litre engine from the 911 Carrera S, making 385 horsepower and 420 Nm of torque, capable of 0 to 100 in 4.4 seconds and a top speed of 295 km/h. More importantly, it shares the front axle with the 911 GT3, combined with its own unique rear suspension design for maximum track performance. Adjustable front and rear aerodynamics, with the big wing being the standout part of the GT4's design, furthermore set it apart from the rest of the Cayman family. The interior welcomes the driver with a smaller 918 steering wheel and a typical Porsche architecture focused on nothing but pure driving. According to Porsche, this is the first Cayman with real downforce, and a Nürburgring lap time of just 7 minutes 40 seconds speaks for itself. The complete absence of PDK makes it a real dream car for any purist.
Yeah, I really have no reason at all to review this car, since it's already sold out. So apparently Porsche has only 6 press cars of the Cayman GT4 for all journalists here in Europe. And they are constantly booked since the launch event in Portugal, where the car was presented. So that means that I only have 1 day with the car to film my video and to get some driving impressions of it, which is just enough time to get from Frankfurt, where I live, down to Stuttgart, pick up the car, drive it here to Heidelberg, into the Odenwald, where my favorite driving roads are, do a little bit of filming and then return the car in the evening. So please don't expect me to get as many shots and as much footage as I normally get when I'm driving one of these cars for a week. That's simply impossible. But no reason to complain. I mean, this car, like I said, is already sold out. Basically, you can't get one anymore. That's what the PR person at Porsche just told me. And I really shouldn't review this car because you can't get one anymore. So I'm glad that I can share some impressions with you, that Porsche is giving me the chance to drive this car here. And the first impressions are extremely positive, I have to say. Let's start really by the way this car drives. I mean, picking it up in Stuttgart from the factory, the first thing that I noticed is how heavy the clutch feels for me personally in comparison to a standard Cayman. But the travel of the clutch pedal is also shorter. That's something that I've talked about in depth in my Carrera GTS review. This clutch here feels maybe a tiny bit heavier even, but it's lovely. It's really lovely for me to have such a short clutch pedal. You can shift so much faster. And talking about shifting, what about the manual transmission here? That's the most important thing, at least for me. I have to say, this 6-speed box here from the Cayman GTS, reworked a little bit by the Porsche Motorsport division, is easily the best manual transmission that I have driven, not only in recent Porsche cars, but even in comparison to something like the 997 GT3, which I love so much. They have really done an excellent job on this. The throws are so short. I was really surprised when I started driving at this car. You can still use the sport mode, then you get auto rev matching, but we don't do that. I have the sports exhaust on, but I'm rev matching myself. And the pedals in this car are just perfect for it. It's just lovely. The next thing I want to talk about is the chassis and the steering, which, like I said, is largely carried over from the GT3. And you guys all know how capable this car is, right? I mean, you've seen the videos from the launch event in Portugal, endless drifting, you've seen the Nürburgring time that this car here is capable of. So what about actually driving it as a car that maybe some people would even daily drive on a public road like this one here, on a twisty road?
Sitting in a GT4, the optional carbon seats hug you firmly, and driving off you immediately sense the quality of the dampers and rigidity of the chassis, building confidence in the GT4 to withstand the abuse of many track days. The suspension is very firm, yet still offers a decent amount of ride quality comparable to a Porsche car on PASM sport suspension. The way the GT4 eats corners is just incredible. Steering is carried over from the GT3, heavily weighted, ultra precise and as perfect as an electric system can be. The overall driving experience is easily the most involving of any car I've driven since the 997 GT3, but with one major downside.
I love rev matching my own gears. The thing is, I wish I could do more rev matching in this car, and that actually brings me to the GT4's biggest downside. I know other people have talked about this in their videos, but that was the reason why I wanted to focus on it, and I noticed the same problem. The gears in this car, even with the bigger engine, are too long for my taste. And I will give you my reason. Third gear in this car goes up to 180 kilometers per hour. And just to give you a comparison, third gear in the 991 GT3 goes, I believe, to 165 or something like that. You can look this up, but the third gear in the GT3 is actually shorter than the one in the GT4 with less horsepower. And what that means is that the car actually doesn't feel as powerful to me as I expected here on public roads. Coming out of third gear corners, let's go into third here actually. And that's 100 kph at just 4,200 RPM in third gear. And these engines really start making their power above 4,500 RPM. So then you are already way beyond the speed limit, and people tell me, Guido, you need to drive faster in these videos. That's the problem actually, you know? If I did so, if I tried to drive this car in third gear up to the red line, I'm doing 180 kilometers per hour. So that's what makes this car a little bit less enjoyable for me actually. I think they should really go for shorter gears in the next Cayman. Yeah, that's really my only complaint with this car. I mean, if you have the chance to buy one, pay the premium, drive it, enjoy it, and I bet you won't even lose money on it. If that's not a future classic, I don't know what will be. But all of you other guys, don't even worry. Because there's a car still on sale called the Carrera GTS, and if I'm honest with you, the Carrera GTS for me has slightly better feeling gear ratios on public roads. I personally prefer the design. I also prefer a car with a rear engine, the way it drives. I'm just a 911 fan, and I would rather drive my girlfriend around in a car that doesn't have a wing on the back, if I'm honest with you. But yeah, that's also things that other people have mentioned. As a car from the Porsche GT department, which has a manual transmission finally again, this is really a hit. This car is awesome, wonderful to drive. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. The next one is hopefully a little bit better and longer again. But Cayman GT4, what a car. What a car.